Hello children. In this video lecture, I will explain you poem of Hornbill, poem for childhood, written by Marcus Natten. Marcus Natten was a Norwegian poet. He wrote a poem Childhood. In this poem, he tries to find out when he lost his childhood. Through his poem, he wrote that people do not live the lives that they preach. In this poem, the poet thinks over his lost childhood. He wonders about the moment where he lost the innocence and realized that the world is not what he seemed it to be. He recalls when his thoughts changed and he realized the hypocrisy of the people around him. He finally settled down to the idea that his childhood went to some forgotten place and is hidden in the face of an innocent infant. Let's start. Explanation of the poem. When did my childhood go? Was it the day I ceased to be 11? Was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography and therefore could not be? Was that the day? In the above lines, the poet wonders about when his childhood came to an end. He asked himself, was it the day he was no longer 11 years old, meaning when he became mature? Was it the day when he realized that hell and heaven existed and yet could not be found in geography or on the map? He realized they are imaginary places that actually do not exist in this world. He again asked for confirmation that actually his child is lost if he had lost his childhood on that day. Geography textbooks did not give the location of any such places. The poet realizes that he might have lost his childhood when he gained his rational outlook due to getting educated. Poet has realized that he has lost his childhood during the hustle and bustle life of life. He is not able to recollect when he lost his childhood. He makes certain guesses, but he is not sure. When did my childhood go? Was it the time I realized that adults were not all the day seemed to be? They talked of love and preached of love, but did not act so lovingly. Was that the day? Here in this stanza, the poet again repeats the same question about when did his childhood go. He wonders about the day when he started seeing the world with a new perception. That adults are hypocrites and are not how they seem to be. The adults who talked of love and preached of love and yet never behaved so lovingly. They are double faced in reality. The poet again wished to confirm through this question, was that the day when his childhood go? Thus, the child lost his faith in the adults around him, whom he had so far trusted without question. Their inactive insincerity became noticeable to the growing child. Perhaps, says Natten, that broken trust was one of the major steps towards adulthood. During his life, he had understood that adults always do not speak truth. They may advocate something, but may do otherwise. This realization is very painful to him. Notice that this is perhaps the longest line of the poem. Marcus Natten is a genius at putting punctuation to use. The length of this line and the difficulty to recite it in one go indicates that this is perhaps the biggest loss the child has suffered. When did my childhood go? Was it when I found my mind was really mine to use whichever way I chose, producing thoughts that were not those of other people, but my own and my alone? Was that the day? In the third stanza, the poet, done consciously and intentionally, on, on the repeats the same question about when he lost his childhood. He asked himself about possibilities. He wonders about the day when he realized that his mind was his own and could use it the way he wants. When he realized that he could produce his own thoughts which were not bound by anyone. When he sensed his own individuality and a separate personality, again the poet confirms that the day when he had lost his childhood. He asked and he wished and need to know that confirmation when his childhood had lost. Poet is denoting generations of his own thoughts as a sign of maturity. He is wondering if having one's own thoughts is equal to living one's childhood. He asked his readers if having a different thought process is a sign of maturity. He is not able to find answer to his own question. Where did my childhood go? It went to some forgotten place that's hidden in an infant's face. That's all I know. In the last stanza, the poet remorses. It means he has a deep regret and guilt for wrong committed things about his lost childhood. He concludes that his childhood had gone to some forgotten place which will never come back. He cherished his innocence which disappeared suddenly and completely and now could be only in a baby's face. He only has sweet memories of his childhood which would soon fade away. He also conveyed a message that the innocence of childhood stays till the time one is an infant and that is all he knows. Poet wants to say that he has lost his childhood and it is not possible to find it again. He had the childhood till he was a small child and was innocent. As he grew and became more conscious and matured, he has lost his carefree days of childhood. He wants to regain, means obtain possession of his childhood days, but he cannot, even one cannot gain his or her own childhood if he or when he lost it. Children, from this slide I have provided you question answers and central idea of the poem. Here you need to write it down, the central idea. Now onwards from this slide I have provided you textual exercise as well as extra question answers. This all you need to write in your notebook and you have to learn well Write with legible handwriting, children. From this slide onwards, children, I have explained you figures of speech of the poem with its definition. So you need to mark it, or if you wish, you can write it down in the notebook. Thank you.